Hey Tab, how's it going?
I'm good, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience?
Well, thank you for having me. It was such a sweet invitation. My name's Tabitha. I'm a life, business, and leadership coach. And I've been a coach for over 10 years now, which is crazy to even think about. And the favorite person that I love to help is my soulpreneurs, as I love to call them. So these are my entrepreneurs that have a really strong mission here. They have a gift that they want to bring into the world, but maybe the business part's a little challenging or the marketing's a little challenging. And so I love to help support them so that they can bring their soul's work to this world. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's so important. So, Tabitha is actually my business coach and my life coach, if you will. And I invited you on the podcast because I feel like we're coming out of 2025, which I've just been hearing was like an interesting slash difficult year for some people and maybe not everybody, and that's okay too.
I would agree with that
And
with most of my clients too. In year, perhaps a challenge. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm feeling and I'm hearing a lot of my own clients and my audience and just people and, whatever friends in the business world just really look around them and maybe not question, their business, but trying to get their bearings in terms of what they want to be doing next. And I've found one of the tools that we've developed through our coaching, which has been so hard for me, is like getting quiet
Mm,
and listening
yes.
to our intuition. And like I always remember on our calls tab where you're like, okay, can you come with me and let's do a little meditation? And whenever Tab says that, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. It's like I don't want to, but no, this is the work, right?
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that because I've experienced that and become a tool that I still struggle doing on my own, but I have developed my own like I feel like my ability to have compassion and grace for myself in difficult moments has gone up exponentially
Yay.
because walking through that with you is it's just something that I guess I hadn't really practiced in such depth before.
Yeah. I'm so glad that that's been helpful for you. And most of us don't sit in quiet. I think in any part of the world, frankly, most parts of the world, some parts still are very quiet and, don't have as many distractions and notifications and screens. But where you and I live, certainly, we are inundated with noise.
Yes.
Even in our quiet homes, we're inundated with notifications from our phone that goes off every second of every day, basically. And we have a lot of things competing for our attention in this day and age. Um, and so between scrolling, between notifications, between the to-dos of life, the adulting is what I call it. We have to adult now and not just hang out and have fun. It can feel really overwhelming. And for me too. I don't have this all figured out. I just try to use the tools I talk about more probably than most people. Um, And so, what's interesting is when I do these exercises with clients, when I do them myself, peace is often found in stillness. But what we have to do sometimes before we can get to the peace is we have to sit through the discomfort of stillness. And why is that? Like, what is this discomfort that we're really avoiding? And so, if we look at the correlation between overwhelm and discomfort, we have this overwhelm, we have chaos in our lives. The world, in my opinion, the world asks way too much of us at this point. And I think we have to like intentionally push back and set really healthy boundaries and be like, no, I'm not available 24/7. No, I'm having healthy boundaries with work and life and the balance between them, right? But that takes a lot of intention. It takes a
Sure.
lot of like thoughtfulness to do that. But if we look at this interesting idea of overwhelm and discomfort, we want peace, but peace is on the other side of discomfort. And so maybe the overwhelm is another part of us, right? We all have parts of ourselves, the part of us that wants to stay at home in our PJs and the part of us that wants to go out to dinner that night, right? So sometimes it might be a different part of us that's protecting ourselves. Like, I'm just going to stay busy, even though I kind of don't like the overwhelm. It's the devil I know, right? Is an expression.
Right.
It's the habit I've formed. What I have to face in the stillness is a lot of discomfort. It might be feelings that you have not let yourself feel in a really long time. It might be admitting to yourself that life does need to change to find peace and stillness, which can be terrifying. If that means leaving
Yes.
a job or leaving a partner or spending your time very differently, hurting people's feelings, for my people please out there. But here we put ourselves first and our needs. So, yeah, through the discomfort, though, if we're brave enough to sit through that, and there's a lot of people who will do that with you, such as myself, such as a therapist, right? There's lots of books and tools and people that can hold that space. We can get through it, and on the other side is just a lot of peace. And what will happen eventually, Miss Cinthia, is you will get to the point where you'll crave it. So now where I'm at in my practice is if I don't find stillness every single day, that's what overwhelms me. Like, I am actively seeking stillness and peace. But it took me years to get through that discomfort. And I still have moments where I know I'm avoiding. I kind of repeat and I'm like, there's this really scary emotion over here. Let's scroll a little bit longer, you know?
Right.
That's okay too. I'm not shaming that
Yeah.
at all, but it's being aware of it. It's choosing it in a way, knowing when I'm purposely avoiding and creating overwhelm in my life versus knowing when I'm ready to face this finally, sinking through that into the peace again. Yeah. But it takes work.
Yeah, and as business owners, I'd say it's one of the top skills we need to have because we're making so many decisions on a daily basis. And like you said, there's notifications, there's
Oh,
our
right.
team members, our clients, like, um, you know, things need to move forward, I guess. And it's really easy to always be in reactive mode. Like, I've found myself going through phases where I get so used to just replying and reacting and reacting and reacting. And then when I do have like a block of 3 hours, which is very rare in my schedule nowadays, to just be or to like, more like ideation ideas or whatever, I'm like, well, I should just go in and answer more Slack messages, even though I know my team is probably fine and my clients are
Sure.
fine. And like, there's really no messages. And then I check again and I'm like, there's still no messages. So it's like, it becomes a habit
Yeah,
of, of reacting to others and like that dopamine hit. Like, there's been tons of
totally.
studies, right, that they show with the phone, and
Oh, yeah. So
it's
much with
so scary. Right.
a lot with screens and dopamine and just being mindful about that. And like maybe some control, right? So if we go back to that discomfort, and by the way, it takes one to know one. So I'm going to call myself out first on that. I know for me, sometimes going back to work, like if I have a gap, and I'm avoiding my stillness in that moment, or just being present, taking a couple minutes to pet your dog, pet your animal, connect with your kid. Like,
Sure.
connection only happens in the present, true connection, right? So when we're multitasking and we're going, again, sometimes we do that to feel a sense of control when there's a lot of chaos around us. And there is a lot of chaos and noise in this world, period. So I'm not here to negate that, but to invite us all and myself every day. I have to practice this, like, where can I control things? Where do I let go and allow? Where do I set healthy boundaries so I can live the best life that I'm called to live, and to lead in my business in the way that I've been called to as well, which each of you who are listening, and Cinthia as well does a beautiful job, has this really important purpose that you're here to share your gift with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, the other skill, with that's kind of connected to the stillness that I've also experienced working with you is this intuition, right? And so many times I'll bring a situation to the table, and your response always blows me away of like, well, maybe you're right. Like, what is the situation telling you? And I'm like, wait, I'm right? Like, what do you mean I'm right? Like, I want like, this doesn't make logical sense. Like, I want a solution and like many times, like one of the biggest learnings, if not the biggest learning from last year was my intuition is the most powerful thing I can listen to. And when I take action on it, as soon as I can like tune in what it's kind of saying to me, I can, sometimes avoid bigger situations or sometimes just find a better solution all around.
Mhm.
And that's, anyway, I'd love for you to talk about that, like honing that in and just finding a way, because I've found that it's just weird when you already have something that is so valuable, but no one has seen it in the way that you've seen it. It's like it's always been there. I just haven't really consciously given it that space.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this question and this idea of our intuition, and this is probably what makes me a very different business coach, when we're looking at how this applies to business and leadership. And some people call me very woo-woo because of this. Um, and I want to bring in intuition. I actively want my clients to use that and to develop it. Sometimes I even refer to this as spirit, not to create
Mm-hmm.
any type of force any beliefs, insert your beliefs here kind of thing. And spirit for many people could be something divine. It could be something outside
Mm-hmm.
themselves that guide them. It could also be for people who don't believe in an outside God or, universe or creator, that it's an internal compass of like, what's my highest self calling me for today? So I tend to use the word spirit kind of guiding us, because I think it's a neutral word that can fill in for anyone's beliefs and be very inclusive. But with regards to it kind of acting like intuition, I feel very strongly that my job as a coach is to not tell people what to do. I can be very consultant like sometimes and say, here's best practices, here's strategies, here's this roadmap, and that to me is the easy part of business, which I don't mean to sound, braggy when I say that, but like you can learn that. Everyone can learn this.
Yeah.
That's teachable, that's learnable. It's the logical side of business. But it's really trusting your heart. That's why I'm a coach. I care more about the wisdom within you, that intuition within that's here to guide us because it has answers to things that you and I never will.
Right.
And it will know better than I could possibly give you a left brain answer for, to
Right.
guide you and to inform you. And what is that? I don't know exactly. I think that's up to each of us to decide what that is. But it is such a critical piece of wisdom in your life that I think is underappreciated, that is underdeveloped in most of our societies, and sometimes shamed away. Sometimes like, well, you're not being logical, or where did you come up with that idea? I love how you spoke to like, I'm right, so much. And I'll say as women too, especially, we're taught to not listen to certain parts of ourselves because our patriarchal counterparts, our patriarchal societies we live in globally, um, have created some shame around that. But my goodness, is intuition part of our strength?
Yeah.
And women generally can be more connected to it. Not that men aren't. I don't really look at that as a binary thing, but just I think women are more attuned. We're more attuned to it naturally in that sense. So yeah, I always, if I can share a story about you,
Yes.
and I don't know why I always think of this one, but it just was such a fun story. I think of the tricycle. Can
Yes.
you share
Yes.
this with everyone because it's just such a
Sure.
simple but powerful like reminder of how our intuition can show up for us.
Yeah, so a few months, I'd say like 6 months ago, before Christmas of last year, me and my partner were talking about buying our daughter, our toddler, a tricycle. And uh, we, whatever, we did all the like research, we were looking, and just something didn't feel right. And it was like, when you leave the items in the cart, right? So it was like emailing me like, hey, you've got this thing in the cart, are you gonna buy, are you gonna buy? And even my partner was like, did you buy the tricycle yet? And we decided, like, we had the money, like everything was there, and I was like, no, I haven't. And I didn't really have a good reason, to be honest. It was like, no.
Yeah.
And I know you've been like, like that.
Yeah.
That is
Like,
exactly what
oh,
it's like. It's like,
no, no.
like error, error, error. And then on one weekend, I went to visit a friend who has two little boys, and we were just hanging out in her house. The kids were playing. My daughter was playing with them. They're a little bit older, but they're all about, like, one is like toddler, one's a little older. Anyway, one of the little boy had a tricycle, and Fran was playing with it. And my friend says, that's too small for him. Like, now we're going to get him a bike. You could actually take that if you want. And I was just, what? Yes, of course. Like, I received that. And it was just it was such a lovely moment too, to receive that from a friend that we've been friends forever. And we're both, moms now together. And it's not like I see her. It was just so perfectly synchronized, because it's not someone I'm talking to every day and like, hey, do you have a tricycle? It was like literally perfect timing. And my daughter plays with the tricycle every day now, and it's a great one. So that is a good example, actually. But
Love
it's
that.
so hard to trust.
So I know people are like, have you done this? And why aren't you doing it? And you're like, I don't know, because the thing inside me is saying no. And so our world does not have words for that yet. Or it does, but not as widely known. Um, I
Yeah.
I think I love that story so much because it's like you don't normally go around talking about tricycles every day. So it's such an active like moment of your intuition finding clarity. Um,
Yes.
and like how do we now apply this to business and to leadership and to our entirety of our lives? And that's
Yeah.
not easy, but like starting small with stuff like that and trusting yourself where it's like it wasn't probably a big deal that you hadn't bought the tricycle, right? Versus trying this out
Right.
humongous decision. Like, no, 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 we start small. We develop this muscle, if you will, like you would any other
Yes.
muscle. So I think that's
Yeah.
a great place for people to start is with small things and then kind of build from there.
Yeah.
Uh, I I really experience this as like a different flow state that you're in. And I have more examples of this than I could possibly share in my own life where and it does what Cynthia was describing is for me it's this like and I'm moving along. Yes, 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 yes. No.
Yeah.
And it's like a brick
So
wall that I
frustrating.
come
It's like,
against.
but wait, Nat,
And
wait, no.
I'm like, but it really makes sense. It makes logical sense for us to do 1 + 2 + 3, you
Yes.
know? And like people are looking at me weird and I'm like, I can't. And honestly, at
Can't.
this point, I've just accepted it. I have so much validation that this is such an important part of myself that I don't even try to explain it to others. I was like, I just wasn't ready yet. Like it just was a no until it became a yes. Like, or something wasn't quite like I won't commit to something when someone's like,
Yeah.
can we do this together, Tabitha? Until I get a yes. Because and it's so crazy how there's something along that path that has to happen to like
Yeah.
align something or take me away to protect me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure
Exactly.
a lot of people listening are like, oh yeah, gosh, I had that one experience with that person. If I just listened to my intuition. So start with
Yeah.
small things and develop that out. And it gets stronger over time. And then like my goodness, with business, yeah, this is like your extra brain over here that you get to tap into and use as you develop and trust it more. And I love the stories I get from clients. It's so much fun. And you know where intuition really can like live is in that stillness.
Exactly.
So going back to what we were starting with, right? To me, it's a flow. We almost get into this flow state. We're not trying to push too hard. Sure, we can have determination, we can have willpower. But if we're trying to control too much, right? Like suddenly we lose connection to this. And so if I'm sitting and allowing, and I have story after story of clients even sharing this with me, before we make decisions, it's like, let's take a second to invite intuition to be a part of that decision. And just as important as 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah, and it's so hard because, like you said, businesses can be and is very logical. Like there's numbers and things need to add up, and it's just, in a way, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel we can fall into a trap of just wanting the external world to just tell us how to do it all the time. And
Yeah.
what's the fun in that? Like I've talked to, this is another example. It's not really related, but sort of, I've talked to a lot of other agency owners, and now, we do more than SEO, but at the beginning, when I started the agency as an SEO agency, I talked to SEO agencies, and a lot of them recommend cold calling. And it's like one of the prime tactics to get clients. And I just could never bring myself to do it because it just never felt right. And I tried to find a way to do it. And maybe there's still a way, like maybe I'm kind of seeing if there's still a way I could do it, but I still was successful and I got my clients other ways.
Yep.
And so there's more than one way. And anybody who tells you, well, this is the only way, like I would just stop following people who tell you that.
Like I would say buyer beware when someone's like, this is your one size fits all way to be successful in your industry and you'll make 6 figures in 3 months. Like that's a really good sales tactic. It is unlikely to work for 98% of the population because your authenticity is such an important part of what you bring to your business.
Yeah.
And so you can't live in your authenticity, which is part of your intuition's a huge part of that, if you're trying to follow someone else's rule book. Like you can't connect with your clients in that space if you're not being authentic. They, I always say, like, it can be really scary to market and to put yourself out there because I could be rejected. Gross, right? But it's also really scary for our clients to be vulnerable and to ask for help and to trust us to take care of them and to not cheat on, not to cheat them out of their money or to do, unethical things. And so it's a shared vulnerability if we think about it that way. And if we both bring authenticity to the table, which includes many parts of ourselves, which includes our feelings, which business is like, there's no feelings. It includes our intuition. It includes leadership. It includes every part of yourself to the table. There's alignment there and connection that can really happen in that relationship with our clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe cold calling for someone else really lights them up because they love calling, hundreds of people every day and getting hung up on. But yeah, for me, it was an sort of thing. And I couldn't see us doing it. It wasn't even about me. It's like, could I hire this out? No, like I just don't really. So it's really a beautiful thing to be able to choose and to go towards the things that light you up. Does that mean it's never uncomfortable? No, like it's uncomfortable to do the things that light me up too, but it's like different, right? It feels more aligned. It feels like like, yeah, I can't wait to try that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, like excitements with the discomfort a little, right? Yeah. That's what I describe when you're like 100 feet outside your comfort zone instead of a mile. If you're a mile in your comfort zone, that's the like, there's gonna be a big resistance there and probably too much energy to get through it, like baby steps. But 100 feet, it's like I'm scared, but maybe I'm kind of excited.
Exactly.
Maybe not today, like you're like dancing with it a little, playing with it. So
and it's less heavy. Like that's biggest thing too I'm trying to incorporate into this year is like, I don't need to take on all the problems. I
Yeah.
can let the universe, I can let people around me, figure itself out. Cause then, yeah, it's like I would just never get out of bed because there's too many things to worry about and to decide and to, it just, it's hard to trust, but it's also, it can bring a lot of lightness and peace to just be like, okay, things will figure themselves out even if I don't have all the like exact steps right now in front of me.
Oh my God, but it's so hard to trust that for all of our control freaks in the world.
Yes.
I practice this, but it's a really hard thing for me. Like I call it a practice because I have to choose to continue to let go of it, letting go of
Yes.
control and allowing, right? And it will be a lifelong practice, I think, for me, because I'm a human and I would love some
Right.
certainty, especially in this crazy world
Yes.
we're living in.
Yes.
But like, yeah, it's really, it's not easy, but it is doable. Like, how do we come back to that every day? What's even a practice in your morning to learn how I
Yeah.
can come back to allowing, spirit life to kind of flow through what
Right.
needs to flow and bring you things that you couldn't even imagine. I love those stories of my own life and others where it's like, if I had been allowed to control everything to the granular decision, I would have missed out on a lot of cool things.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm. So sometimes, if we don't let that intuition guide us into something even better, we're playing really small in our worlds.
Yeah.
We're missing out, but easier said than done.
Yes, yeah. Especially in the world we live in where it feels like we have everything under control, right? Like we can get things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then when you have to wait, I don't know, like 1 minute more in line, you freak out. You're like, it's literally 5 minutes. Like, why am I
Yeah.
worried about
Yeah.
that?
And like, how do you coexist in both those spaces? Because if we're fully present, there we realize we have pretty much no control except over this present
Right.
moment.
Yeah.
But it's gone already. Like, oh, there it went.
Right.
So and our world doesn't live in the present, so we do have to plan a little bit into the future. But if we plan too much, what are we missing out on in the present?
Yeah.
And what are the surprises that can find us? And from taking a different turn because your gut, your intuition's like, let's go left today, and maybe you always go right, but that left led you to bumping into a friend or avoiding a car accident or seeing a
Right.
beautiful hawk fly by, and you're just like, it helped you get to stillness. Maybe, who
Yeah.
knows, maybe we're not supposed to know everything.
Hmm.
Again, easier said than done. I know right now it sounds like I have this all figured out, but it is a daily practice for me. And some days I wake up and I'm really in it. Today's one of those days. I feel really connected to it all, and that there's, love that unites us. There's goodness that unites us, and I can sit and flow with that and not have to have it all figured out. And
Right.
then there's days where, Cynthia's seen a couple moments because I'm expecting. And so this will be my first baby. And she's been a really good mom friend to have. Thanks, Cynthia. I'll
Aw.
send her, I'm like, is this normal? Is this how it's supposed to feel? And so she gets to witness my like a little, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I like this. How do I allow this? I want to control it. Right. Or what can I do to prevent this? So
Yeah, that's a whole new level of letting go of control.
I
Another little being.
right. I always thought I had such love and respect for mothers. And now that I'm like going to become one and my body's going through this pregnancy, I'm like, these goddesses deserve to be at every step of the way. And why is our world not kinder to moms? And why do we not get paid six figures for bringing life into this planet? Like, the respect I have even more for mothers has just like gone out the roof. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I hear you. Totally hear
There's a
you.
lot that they carry. Hmm.
Yeah. So where can people hang out with you and just get to know more about your work?
Yeah, so my website, thedivinesophia.com, is a great place to connect. You can find me on Instagram at the Divine Sophia and on Facebook. Um, and specifically, a fun place to connect right now is the PAC program, which Cinthia is also a part of. And so this
Yes.
is a group program I put together to bring community with the business owners I work with. And it was a dream I had for a couple years, and I wasn't quite sure how to bring the SEO marketing, agency expert into the same room as the young gentleman who owns a trading card store and deals with trading, like Magic and Pokemon and stuff like that. I'm like, how on earth do I get these two business owners in the same room in a shared value? And so finally, about a year ago, the PAC program came to me and was born. And it's knowing that you're going to go through 4 phases of business. You're going to be in your startup phase right at the beginning, maybe there for a year or two. Then we go into systems. Like, we've done our foundational work here in startups. So now we need to put together systems and standard operating procedures and automations and some fun
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then we get to scaling. And scaling can be really fun. We want to double and triple our business, but without those systems in place, we maybe start to burn out. We have not scaled sustainably. And then our final place we're all trying to get in our business is sustainability. It's that legacy that we're wanting to build. It's the ease of financial stability and creation that we've put forth. And so there's 4 packs in the pack program. And so based on where you're at in the business, I place you there. And that's how, you can have 2 very different industries sitting together in community, because they're going through the same struggles and they're going through the same successes. And so we can cheer for each other. We can share our best practices. And so the PAC program has become a really fun way that I work with my soulpreneurs, from startup to sustainability. It's a great space to just sit in community and get coaching and get really great. I have a roadmap. I have a resource guide for kind of every step of the way. And I've kept it really reasonable so that people can find help, because I wish I'd had that 10 years ago when I started my business. So
Yeah.
I created something that would have really helped me back then. Yeah.
Yeah, running a business can feel isolating because, your family, your partner be like, why are you up like in the middle of the night working? Or like, why are you so stressed out? Like, whatever. Or anyway, all the things. And so it can be nice to normalize each level
Mhm.
and to hear that you're not the only one and that your problems are totally like normal.
Yeah.
And then just brainstorm as a community, right? And
I
get
love
a different perspective.
yeah, I love how, like, I used to tell clients this, previous to the PAC program, you're not alone. All my business owners are going through these problems. And they're like, no, it's just me. Everyone else has it out. And like, I'd say the number one thing that most people have been grateful for with the PAC program is realizing they're not alone.
Yeah.
You're right. It's very, very isolating. And I think
Yeah.
the most joyful thing that came out of the PAC program that I was hoping would, but I was like, did I even ask for such a thing? Is the community growing beyond it? So how many people are friends now? Some of the business owners have done like co-workshops together and partner
Yes.
up, and like they check on each other outside. It's just so sweet to see how they
Yeah.
become friends and they continue to support each other even just outside the container I built. It's really sweet.
Yeah. No, it's so needed and now more than ever, I would say, but
Yeah.
it's such a powerful space. Thank you for creating it.
Oh, thanks for being a part of it.
Well, thank you so much. I love our conversations and it was so great to bring you on and share some of the wisdom and kind of magic of our work together. And yeah, thanks, Tab.
Thanks for having me, Cynthia. It's always a pleasure being in your space, and you bring so many gifts into this world, and I'm really glad you're offering them so freely to the world. They're beautiful gifts. So thank you.
Thanks, Tab.